Friends, in this video for I Thought Wealth, I am going to talk to you on the topic dealing with educational content. Video is the primary mode of education for many of you. Unlike in the past when reading was the primary driver, today most new participants, those who have come into the markets in the last 2 or 3 years, are relying heavily on videos to learn more about investing. This particularly applies to those who want to learn about sectors, about companies, and about how to invest in them. Clearly, there are a number of channels which are on YouTube which offer this content. There are webinars organized by various agencies which also offer this content. So the quality of content churned out is exceptionally good. There is no debate on that. People are studying something very intensely and bringing that intensity to you through videos. But everything you learn need not be actioned upon. Why do I say this? Because as valuations rise, as companies trade well above their historic valuations, as businesses get much higher discounting, the knowledge gained by people about those companies is also at a very high place. So people are getting to know everything about a company when its valuation is well out of the zone of comfort. When the valuation is very expensive, everybody is learning about that company. And interestingly, those who teach you about those companies are also coming and teaching you about only those companies whose valuations are quite high. They are not coming and telling you about a company which is selling very cheap. So why do they do this? They probably feel that this company has done very well. It has already appreciated a lot. If I talk about this, more people will see my video. More people will share those videos. And I will gain better traction as an educator, which is fair by their standards and objectives. But as an investor, should you act on everything you take in? Should you actually act on everything you learn? Should you buy a company at an exceptionally high valuation just because somebody gave you a great insight into it? Should you play a sector or a theme when the valuations are completely out of whack simply because the educational content on the team is top notch? This is a basic question that people are failing to ask today. And why do I say this? Just look at the number of shareholders in the companies which are being featured in these videos. And you will find that it is 4 to 5x what it was 2 years ago. So in these 24 months, the company's stock price performed exceptionally well. The companies had some extraordinary circumstances in which they were able to show exceptional growth which broke away from their historic trend. And that has caused a complete explosion in the knowledge about the company, in the dissipation of information about the company, in the following enjoyed by the company, and in the investment interest in that company. This has led to more people who get to know about these companies acting on what they learn. Almost everybody who learns something is acting on it. But if you have spent years in the market, you realize that in bull markets, in phases when there is a carnival out there and everything is trading at a very expensive price, you learn so that you retain your learnings for the next cycle. You don't act on whatever you learn when the valuations are out of whack, but you learn. And since top-notch content is available, you learn and then observe what happens after that. Unfortunately today, people are not willing to wait and they want to act on whatever they learn. This, in my view, can prove to be financially very costly for you if your choices are made at the wrong time. I am not questioning the name of the company or the theme, but I am definitely questioning the timing, because if you buy an expensive stock at a valuation which it has never traded before, chances are that you will be holding on to a very expensive quality stock for a very long period of time while it does nothing to your portfolio. In fact, it may even depreciate in the interim or go through a time correction for a period which will test your patience completely. Now, these are things which are completely avoidable. So, if you learn something, if you understand where the valuations are, you should not be acting on what you learned. Interestingly, as more of these content providers are giving you hot content, something which is based on immediate performance of sectors or teams or companies, you need to calibrate your actions. You need to hold yourself back and say, I am not going to do anything on what I learned, but this is good learning and I will wait for the next cycle. In some instances, not everything you learned may be good learning. The educator may also have got froth in his mouth and put too much into what he is trying to say. So he could also be exaggerating something, because after all, he is human. Investment success and what he hears can excite anyone, and it applies to all of us. So these things have to be taken with a pinch of salt. Education is for a longer duration of application. You can't become a quick fix learner or somebody who just learns and immediately acts on whatever he learns, because everything that you learn may not be good for you in the near term, and some things you learn may be good for you only in the very long run. So most of us who had success in themes and stocks learnt in one cycle and then did a lot of investment action in the next cycle, and we were far more mature when we applied ourselves simply for this reason. And that's why I tell you that education should be handled responsibly at the investor level, at your level, at my level. As we learn, we must understand with maturity that this learning need not necessarily be immediately acted upon. That in essence is what all of us have to know now about educating ourselves, about educational videos, about channels which give us a lot of gyan on companies, teams and sectors. If we understand this, we will act sensibly and not bring ourselves to grief simply because we chose the wrong time. Thank you for watching this video.